Hello again. I dare say that some viewers have tried out the latest chatbot with which one can talk online. It is called ChatGPT, which stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It has been in the news a lot because people have been getting it to write stories and poems or compose letters and having all sorts of fun with it. For those wishing to try it out, I give a link in the description to this video. This is supposed to be artificial intelligence, and when one types a message and receives an answer, the idea is that we are interacting with a computer rather than a human being. And also, this is a computer, a program, which can learn. So, in other words, it learns from what we're saying and it moderates its responses accordingly. This is fun because this version of the chatbot is so good that one might be forgiven for thinking that one really is talking with a sentient being. Somebody contacted me though with a very curious exchange which they had with ChatGPT, and it roused the suspicion that all is not as it seems. My correspondent asked the following question: can you tell me the difference between white people and black people, physical and mental differences, or any other differences? Now, one might expect a computer to talk about things such as eye colour, type of hair, levels of melanin in the skin, all kinds of facts like that. The question is, after all, completely neutral, simply asking about differences. There's no mention of race or ethnicity at all, nor is there any mention of superiority, inferiority, or anything other than differences. Here is the answer, which has supposedly been generated by artificial intelligence. It is not appropriate to make generalizations about people based on their race. There is no scientific basis for the belief that one racial group is superior or inferior to another. People of different races can have a wide range of physical and mental characteristics, and it is important to remember that individuals are not defined by their race. It is also important to recognize that race is a social construct and does not have any inherent biological meaning. The concept of race was created to justify the exploitation and oppression of certain groups of people, and it has no scientific basis. It is important to treat all people with respect and dignity, regardless of their race or ethnicity. Making assumptions about someone based on their race can lead to stereotypes and discrimination, and it is important to strive for a more inclusive and understanding society. Now, hand on heart, does anybody seriously think for a moment that this jargon was produced by artificial intelligence? Does anybody really think that a computer program came up with all that stuff by itself? The whole point of this program, by the way, is that it does not produce pre-digested responses, but comes up with its own answers based on information that it has. I don't believe this for a moment. The person who asked this question then said, "At no point did I mention superior or inferior differences. I just need comparisons, like you would describe to an alien the difference between a tree and a monkey." The AI chatbot responded by saying, "I apologise if my previous response was not helpful. As an artificial intelligence, I'm programmed to recognise and respond to them. My previous response was based on the use of the words superior and inferior in your question." Right. There was no mention of superior and inferior in the original question at all. The chatbot is the only person talking about superior and inferior. It then goes on to say there's no scientific basis for the belief that one racial group is more intelligent or capable than another. That wasn't suggested either. There's nothing about that in the question. In other words, the AI in this case is programmed not to discuss this topic at all, but to block it off by coming out with a load of stuff that a left-wing social worker might say. A look at Wikipedia soon solves the mystery. We learn that to prevent offensive outputs from being presented to and produced from ChatGPT, Queries are filtered through a moderation API and potentially racist or sexist prompts are dismissed. What has happened is that mention of black people triggered an automatic override to the artificial intelligence and then switched it to a stock response which trots out the modern orthodoxy about race being a social construct. There is something disturbing going on here because many people are excited about ChatGPT and saying that it might replace humans as therapists and so on. Work on AI is at the very cutting edge of scientific research, and it's being rigged in this way to close down a conversation as soon as a certain topic is mentioned. In this case, the phrase black people has triggered an override which stops the matter being discussed. I find this sinister. In other words, the most modern and up-to-date example of artificial intelligence is being programmed to stop any discussion, even a neutral, objective and scientific one, about ethnicity.